Happy New Year and welcome to 132 Problems Revisiting Mormon Polygamy. What an amazing year it has been. Here we are rounding out the year at nearly 10,000 subscribers. I never knew if I would even get to 1,000. So this has been amazing. I have learned so much over this year, and I hope that those of you who have been on this journey with me also feel like you have learned a tremendous amount. It has been so valuable and productive, and I can honestly say my faith has grown through this journey, which I think is a wonderful thing to be able to say after addressing so many sources and so many challenging topics. So honestly, right? I do not think that truth destroys faith. Quite the opposite, because faith is to have faith in things which are not seen, which are true, right? So true faith can only be in truth, and that's what we've been seeking together. It has been such a journey. It's been thrilling to be here with you. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I have to say, I am looking forward to some of the amazing things we have planned for next year. One thing I'll announce right now, we are doing a fifth Sunday live call-in show next year. We might fit in a few others as well, but that's something that I think will be fun. I'm hoping we have some other exciting things happening. And if I can pull off what I want to for next week, which will be my 100th episode, as well as the first episode of the year, I think it will be amazing. So plan to tune in for that for sure. And hopefully there will be some more information coming up. In the meantime, for this New Year Eve episode, I thought it would be fun to just do something a little bit lighter and a little more fun and to enjoy kind of a record of the past year. So we're just doing a year-end meme review, which I think will be great. I have gotten into memes a bit this year. It's been fun for me. So I wanted to share that journey with any of you that aren't there yet. And for any that are already there, I think you'll have a lot of fun remembering some of these along with us. So thank you so much for being here as we take this deep dive into the not that murky water of Mormon memery. Welcome to this New Year's Eve episode of 132 Problems. I am really excited about this episode and hoping it will be a fun one to round out the year. I am here with my new friend and now my good friend, Jeremy. And Jeremy his names and faces have been changed to protect the identity of the innocent. We will explain a little bit more as we go on, but we have a lot of people in various communities who don't feel free at this time to have a strong online presence without using a pseudonym. Am I correct about that, Jeremy?
That's true. That's very true.
Okay, so we went ahead and went with the old school identity protection style rather than using a different new tech method. This works better for us, and I thought was more fun. So I first reached out to Jeremy and asked him if he would be interested in doing this episode, and he really wanted to but couldn't. So we thought this was a really good solution. So
yes.
So I'm very happy to introduce you to Jeremy. Well, I guess introduce the topic that we're talking about. What we are talking about is the power of memes. That's what this episode is about. Jeremy is one of the founders, or maybe the founder of the group. Can I say it on the channel, Jeremy?
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So it's this great group that I suddenly was added to that I was like, what is this magical new land of joy and happiness and humor? And it's called the Great Aposta Meme, which even the name itself is a meme because, I'm sure we will talk about it as we go on in the presentation. Yes. That Jeremy has put together. We were deciding on names. I was kind of leaning toward Archimedes, but Jeremy chose Jeremy instead. So that's the name that we are going with. And I'm really excited. Like, this might seem like a completely light, frivolous topic. This is actually our second time recording this episode. And the first time I was kind of just amazed by how important memes actually are in our culture. And so I'm excited to bring you this information. So first, welcome, Jeremy. Is there anything you would like to or feel free to tell us about yourself?
Well, I'm one of those that's kind of partially in and partially out with regards to my how should you even say it?
I call it nuanced belief. Does that work?
There you go. Excellent. That works for me. Yeah, but I mean, this is kind of for fun too, just to kind of represent those that are in the situation. And, it wouldn't take Sherlock Holmes to find out who I am.
Right. But we did, there was another member I had reached out to include in this conversation who also uses a pseudonym. I think his pseudonym is, can I say that? I'm sure I can. His online presence in the group is Dale Dingman, and he has come up with some hilarious memes, and he also had to decline for the same reason. So shout out to Dale, and shout out to the others that I have invited on that just are like, can't do it right now for family reasons or calling reasons or whatever. Sometimes employment reasons, whatever it might be. People, this is a tricky space for some people. Definitely so even people who are active members who believe in the precepts and the basic tenets of the gospel, having nuance can be difficult.
Definitely. So true. You nailed it.
So I don't know. Not Dale, that's someone else. And luckily I didn't slip and say your real name. Jeremy has put together a presentation for us. So I don't want to, if I ask any questions in the preliminary discussion that you're going to cover, then you could just tell me. I am curious, how you started this group and why. Is that something you're going to talk about, or should we talk about that before?
I can mention it now. So,
okay.
I'd like to think that I have kind of built-in humor in my brain, that I find the humor in most everything. And I wanted an outlet for it. And I was kind of spamming some other group, where I was putting memes up all the time, as things would come into my brain. And I was like, well, I'll just make my own. I'll just make my own. And I think I started it like a year ago, something like that, and just didn't, I don't know, it was more cathartic for me just to put them out there, these ideas that I had. And a handful of people joined, and now it's grown and grown ever since. And now it's kind of gotten a life of its own, where people are on there, posting all the time. We have like 20 whatever posts every day. It's pretty wild.
Wow. And that's not just posts. Those are memes that people put together.
Correct. That's right.
Wow. Okay. So is that what you expected when you started?
Oh, no. It was more about me just kind of having a repository. I wanted to have a place where, you're talking to your uncle, and your uncle says, well, I don't know where it says that in the scriptures, or you're not willing to talk to you about it, but you could just send him a meme, And I wanted to have kind of like a master list where somebody could go through and find memes and
perfect.
Be ready for the meme war.
Okay. So and was there something else you were going to say when I asked that question about?
I don't think so.
Okay, go ahead and interrupt me anytime. But okay, so you had humor and memeing in your blood. It sounds like you were doing memes already before you started your own group to keep them. Okay, and so were you memeing about things before? Well, do you know what? I know my mom, who is 89, listens to this podcast. Jeremy, would you be willing to define the word meme that we are using? That my mom's probably going,
sure.
What are they saying? So
okay, well, it's in my presentation about 8 slides in or something like that.
Okay, so we will get to that. So anyone who is like, what are they talking about? Just stick around for a few minutes and all of your questions will be answered. And you will, this is going to be a fun one. I'm actually really excited about it. So, and I have to say, well, first of all, I do want to ask, because my kids have I'm like a very young Xer, but yet nevertheless an Xer. I barely fit into that category. And I was like, my kids are like, Mom, you don't get meme humor. You're not funny. You don't get it, And so I was a little bit like, oh, I'm one of those oldies, okay, boomers, kind of what they want to say, even though I'm an Xer, But this has been fun for me, because I'm like, no, I totally get memes, kids. I am on it. I'm doing it, But so I'm curious to know if you, have you been making memes for your whole life or your whole internet life, or did you start because of this topic? Do you know what I mean? Tell me how you got into this.
So I actually come from an art background. In a former life, I was an artiste. And I actually had
Very cool.
comics and papers, which was seems like a lifetime ago. But so I've got that in my brain where I look for funny things and then I think of a comic. It's just been a part of me. The I really didn't start memeing until I started to see issues with some of my faith matters for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it
Well,
became,
not in the scale
it,
that I do now.
okay, but it was your faith journey that motivated your memeing
Correct.
practice, your
Yeah,
memeing addiction.
largely. I mean, before that, it was just a handful of things I ever did.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
That's really good. Is there anything else I should ask as preliminaries? Like,
No,
well,
I think
let me
it's.
ask.
Oh, yes.
Let me ask one more thing. Sorry, I'm
Mhm.
I'm interrupting myself. But did you, when you started memeing, you said it was
Mhm.
kind of cathartic, and I want to talk about that going forward too. Kind of cathartic, and also a way to be creative and to speak to these things. Did you think it was? Have you been surprised by how it's more important than you thought it was going to be? Like
Oh,
you kind of
definitely.
mentioned. Okay, yeah, because it's almost like a missionary tool. Like, is that something you want to talk about now or in your presentation?
I'll do that in the presentation, but
Okay.
I was listening to a couple of comedians talking the other day. It was like an interview show, and one comedian was talking to the other ones, talking about how in the olden days we could say things like this, but now we'll be canceled and that kind of thing. And I was thinking about the overlay with what we're doing with memes, where um, there's a lot of things that you might see. You might be a total active member of the church, but see something funny, and you'd love to kind of poke at it, but you're afraid that you'll get in trouble somehow. And so the great thing about the memes is that you can get that out there without feeling there's going to be repercussions for it.
Okay, you can speak to the essence of something without having to. Yeah. There's a subtlety to it, and also a directness to it that's really an
Yeah.
interesting. Like when they're done well. Okay, and
Yes.
it is also a way. Not everyone wants to listen to a 2+ hour podcast on a topic,
Yes. Yes.
but if you can send them a meme
That's
or 5
right.
memes,
Yes.
okay.
Yes. Well, I've listened to some of your 3-hour Jeremy Hoop episodes, and there's a lot of people that would never do that. But we could have our little meme army make 300,
Right.
memes just from one slide, and get it out there.
Yeah, you're exactly right. So, do you want me to add this to stage? Are you ready to go ahead and get
Yeah, let's
started?
go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay. So this is Jeremy's presentation, which I am really excited for. So take it away.
Okay. Sharing the meme gospel in the struggle for the attention of men and women. So you see this poor little boy tugging on the shirt. Listen, Dad, right?
Trying to
And
get someone's
that's
attention.
as we're trying to share the gospel with people. It's all about, can you get their attention? So this, a lot of us who served missions can look at this picture and go, "Oh, I remember those days, hours and hours and hours of knocking on doors." And, at the end of the day, you go, "Well, how many people did we talk to?" Well, in some areas, very few. In the olden days, missionaries work, you might knock on 100 doors and engage one person. They won't open their doors, even if they're home, right? Or even if you do get to talk to them, maybe they won't listen to you because maybe you talk too much, or they're not interested. So where are people, and where do they open their doors? They are online. This sort of information absolutely fascinates me, and it blows my mind. And I'm not trying to, what are your sources, that kind of thing. Just know people spend a lot of flipping time on screens. I don't think
Sure.
anybody debates that. The average American spends 7 hours and 4 minutes staring at a screen per day. And then that blue, the Gen Z is the height of it, followed by millennials, and then so forth. But less and less as the older you get, I guess. But that is a lot of hours. That's like a full-time job, staring at a screen.
That's crazy. And in some ways, I would think this is terrible, but watching my kids and their phones, in addition to, you almost think it would be higher than that sometimes, because
I would think, yeah, I don't know
okay.
how accurate these are. I just think it's interesting to see,
Yeah, it's a substantial amount of time. Yes.
Substantial. So American, on the right side there, distribution of American screen time. TV is 34%, video games 16, movies 14, online videos 12, social media 9, other 9, and ebooks 6 make up the total amount of screen time. And I was wondering too, I don't know if this even accounts for work. You know, if that,
I was going to say,
9%,
where's work?
9% is other. Maybe other is work. I don't know.
Maybe,
can you imagine?
maybe this is just leisure time, because for me, the majority of my screen time is work. You know, for someone who's heavy into research, but for most of us, I think everybody has a laptop or a desktop open at work. Most people.
Exactly.
And go ahead. What were you going to say? Sorry.
Oh no. Yeah, it's not really clear on this if whether or not work is covered under other or if it's above and beyond, because some people spend 8 hours at work staring at a screen. And then if they were seriously another 7 hours, whatever, oh my gosh, that is a lot of screen time. It's like constant screen time.
That's my guess. I'm interpreting this to mean like outside of like leisure time in addition to work. That's
makes sense.
Crazy. Okay.
So there are countless bids for our attention. Nowadays, my goodness gracious, if you have a screen open, everything wants a piece of you. Emails, Facebook, advertisements, TikTok, Telegram, we're piled up with all these bids for our attention. We are drowning in information while starving for wisdom, right?
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah, I like that one. So because of this sheer amount of information, we need to sort at top speed. I love this episode of I Love Lucy. If you remember that one.
Chocolate factory.
Chocolates are coming super, super fast. Yeah. And then they start shoving them in their mouths and stuff. It's really funny. Because of this need to sort things constantly, people increasingly have the attention span of hamsters. Hamsters are known for only being able to focus on any task for longer than a few seconds, or often they're unable to. Oh my gosh. Isn't that crazy? Okay.
Yeah.
The rule of thumb in digital advertising is that you must capture the user's attention within the first 3 seconds of the ad, or else you risk losing them completely. So because we're just constantly sorting and things are coming at us, if it doesn't catch our attention immediately, boom, it's gone. We scroll on through, it's gone. So, oh, look at this little, oh, he's so cute, right? Getting a message out to the truth seekers, the blind, the distracted, and asleep through memes. And memes are this, Michelle's mommy, this is what a meme is. These pictures you see that are like, oh, that's so cute. Look at this little guy when you're back at work Monday morning trying to put on that smile. Oh, he's trying so hard, right? Make you laugh and that kind of thing. You can even spell words wrong, like they didn't spell the word "your" right. But
I was going to say, since we address, like I'm like, it's killing me to not address. Yes, the "your" is wrong. Your. But sort of in memes, it's kind of like, who cares?
Whatever.
Yeah, exactly. It can happen.
Yeah. Okay. Meme defined: an image, video, piece of text, etc., typically humorous in nature, that is copied and spread rapidly by internet users, often with slight variations. Okay. And I would say too, regarding the video, usually if it's going to be video, it's going to be a very short clip. So so all of the things that are in this well, you can even go to your next slide. All of these slides in this presentation, where like the classic idea of a meme is something like this: a picture with some easy to read text on it. Exactly. Generally speaking,
it just gets a quick idea across.
Yep.
Usually, not always, and we had a discussion about this, Jeremy, but usually not that much text. It's usually the picture with a quick text that you can read, and often humorous. Not always, but that's kind of the idea, right? It's kind of a,
correct.
We talked about the old Mormon ad campaign. Remember the posters? Those were early memes. Like they would have a poster with some text. And so now, but a meme is that same idea online. And I like that it included that as it gets shared, people change it. It gets a life of its own.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So Mom, I'm hoping you have that. If you don't, let me know. We'll try to put more definitions in. So, Mom and any other great grandmothers. I'm a grandma. You're a grandpa. So we were just going to say that. So I can't just say grandparents, but anyone who doesn't yet get memes, this is what they are. Okay.
Yes. So this is one that I grabbed up real quick, and this is somebody else's meme. A lot of these are other people's memes. So let's see here. So how others share the gospel, with their books
With
and talking
scriptures.
people. Yeah. How I share the gospel. It says one does not simply share the gospel without memes, and people could think.
Oh, go ahead.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
People can think memes are just kind of frivolous or silly, but they can really cause an impact. What were you going to say, Michelle?
I was just going to say, for anyone also, they do rely heavily on cultural awareness. Like
Yes.
there are lots and lots of movie memes, and so
Yeah.
like this, the bottom portion of this, everyone who's watched Lord of the Rings knows exactly what that is,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
One does not simply walk into
into
Mordor, right? And but people who so if you ever don't get a meme and you're like, well, it's just because you haven't seen the movie, right? And sometimes
Exactly.
they're still funny. So I wanted to clarify that. Everyone who's like, duh, we know this is for the part of the audience that doesn't necessarily know. So yeah. So don't give up on memes just because you might not have seen that movie. Okay.
Yes. This was a comment that I saw online from a woman that had seen a meme, and I didn't put the actual meme up here because I thought it was a little too risque for your show. But it said, this meme was a big hinge point in my waking up journey. I remember when I first saw it, I was totally scandalized, but I kept coming back to it over the next few weeks and months and et cetera, et cetera. But the point is that the meme helped her to investigate more and to think about things, and it helped her to wake up to some stuff. So I think that's a great testimonial to the power of memes and in the gospel.
That is really that's really true. It's really powerful. We can show some examples later on of various memes that have had that effect on people, I think, because it really does. You can feel scandalized or just amused at first, but it has a way of sticking with you sometimes. Some good memes.
That's right.
Okay.
So I'm just pointing out the LDS Church does use memes. They even have on their website where you can download memes and share their memes. So they get that they work.
They have their own downloadable. I didn't realize that. So the LDS Church, like, they want us to be meme warriors, right?
Correct. So, on the right here is actually a screenshot from the church website with memes that you can download and share.
Oh my gosh, that's crazy. Okay, so we are like, we're doing the work. We're doing exactly what we're supposed to be with the permission of the church. That makes me happy. Okay.
But so do the anti-ex-Mormon types, right? So they've got theirs. You know about that. I'm not going to spend time going over each one of these, but
okay.
And so do all the other sects and fundamentalist types, and everybody's got memes that they put out there.
People can go ahead and pause the screen and go through the memes.
There you go.
Yeah.
Memes, top 10 reasons why memes work. Oh, this is a surprise. You didn't know this was in here.
I didn't. This is new. I love the scientific cat. Okay.
Number 1, images get attention. Content with visuals get 94% more total views. Isn't that interesting?
Okay. Yeah.
And this is, I've got no source for this, but just know that's totally the truth, that you can just say they get a lot more views if you have visuals. This is, I don't think anybody would refute that.
No, I know that on Facebook, I'm not on Instagram. I need to get there. But a lot of times people say picture included just to grab attention, and it has nothing to do with just the, like, if you want it to get more reach, include a visual. Yeah.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So what did you first look at when I put this up?
Brigham's face. Yeah.
Brigham's face. Mm-hmm. I think most people on here would say, yeah, Brigham's face. I think that the order people would look at this in, they'd look at Brigham's face. They look at what he's saying because it's short. Mm-hmm. They'd probably go up to the greenish words at the top because they're bold and it's the next in kind of the visual hierarchy, followed by the 2 paragraphs that have highlighting in them on the right. And then finally, they would probably go over to the left, which is all just plain black and white words. That's more than likely the way people's eyes would go. So when I first posted this meme, this is what it looked like.
Okay.
And it hardly had any reach at all. I reposted the exact same meme. This is the words from the same meme. It's the same exact words, only with the picture and a question at the top. And might not ever read the words if they were just plain, right, on the right, those
Hmm.
two paragraphs, but they are willing to commit to find out what is Brigham saying. I'm willing to
Yeah.
commit to one sentence. Was Hiram Joseph's chosen successor, or the one Joseph said would lead the church to hell? Ooh, that'll grab you. Like, ooh, I want to know what that's about. I'm now willing to read two paragraphs. It kind of
So
teases it and helps people get into it.
what you actually did was add more text that we have to read,
Yeah,
right?
that's right. In the
But
grand scheme, yeah,
but you gave us a reason to read it, because that was my exact experience.
exactly.
Like, I would scroll past that, especially when I'm just like when I usually am on is when I'm like, oh, I'm tired at the end of the day, I'm taking a break from work. So, you know what I mean? I don't want to commit to
Yeah,
reading, but when you give me a
exactly.
reason to read it, then I will. Yeah.
Yes.
Good example.
Okay, you mentioned this one. Pop culture makes it engaging. You know, if you like Marvel, you're like, oh snap, I remember that. The Ragnarok. Was that Ragnarok? I think it was Ragnarok movie. Um, Brigham. This is a poke at church history stuff. Brigham. Yes,
Yes,
Joseph.
Joseph.
Soon I will die, and you have to be the one to lead the church. Oh no, Joseph, not I. I am but a man. God has chosen you. Everyone else will lead the church to hell. Joseph, I see this must be. With great reluctance, I will do it for you and for the Lord. And then the choir sings. Ah. So,
Okay, this is so good, because people who know the movie get that side of
yeah,
it. People
yeah,
who know church history and what you are quoting, what you are citing, right?
yes,
So
yes,
that's one thing. Memes are like the ultra inside jokes as
yes,
well, right? Like,
exactly.
this can amuse anybody, but people who really know exactly what you're hitting on are
Yeah,
dying. Okay,
yes,
that's
yes.
awesome. Okay,
And
good
and
one.
and your uncle who won't. If you tried to send, you mentioned like, well, they know what you're talking about. If you were to send that person the pages from the Joseph Smith papers to read, or some
Yeah.
clips from articles, they'll be like, oh, I'm not reading that article. But if they like Marvel, if they like, Homer Simpson or whoever, then maybe they'll read it because it's got something in it from pop culture that actually will draw them in.
And you can follow the example of what you did on the Brigham meme, where you could send the data points behind this,
Oh
the Joseph
yeah.
Smith
Oh,
papers,
totally.
but the meme first, right? Send the
Exactly.
meme and then
Tease it.
attach because if they want to argue with you about that meme, well, here's all of the evidence. And so
Exactly.
that's a
Nailed it.
great way to do it. Okay.
Number three, reader doesn't necessarily have to look anything up. And this is addressing what I just said, actually. Here's Drake. He's a pop star rapper guy, I believe. Getting a friend to open their scriptures to understand a verse. Oh, no. Oh, no. Getting a friend to read a document in the Joseph Smith papers. Oh, no. Oh, no. Getting a friend to read that same information with a picture of their favorite movie star or cartoon character's picture. Oh, bring it
Now
on.
you've
Bring it
got
on.
it. Yep. And I have no idea who Drake is, but I've seen this meme all over the place because
Oh,
it's
yeah,
self-explanatory. So, okay.
exactly. So, laughter and learning humor boost retention. So, I found this study. It said humor activates the brain's dopamine reward system, stimulating goal oriented motivation and long term memory, which means that humor can improve retention in students of all ages. So, if you have something funny in it, it helps it to stick in their brain. Number five, it's more likely to be shared. It's kind of a low quality graphic, but it says visual content is now 40 times more likely to be shared on social networks. So if you just do some print, its chances are substantially less. It's less that it's going to be sent out. 40 times more likely if it's got a picture.
That's cool. That makes me, I have to interrupt you for a second. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
because I'm a little proud of myself that some of my full text, like I did a couple of lists of questions about polygamy for people to think about, and it got shared broadly. And so I'm like, oh, what picture? Sometimes a picture isn't appropriate, you know, and it still can be shared if it's really good content, but it's good to know to include a picture if at all possible. So.
And so we should probably make that into a meme too, or a bunch of memes, you know, with pictures and stuff. So that'd be great. On the right here is the olden days. You know, she's got her 80s style hairstyle, and she's out there handing out her flyers, trying to get information out. You know, that was the olden days. Now with digital, you don't have to go to the photocopy shop. You don't have to, you know, stand out on a street corner, sweating it up, handing out flyers. You can simply digitally send it out, and it gets sent out again and again and again.
That's great. Yeah.
Number 7, brief or short attention spans. Oh, that got cut off a little bit. You see on the right there, it says gospel topics, essay writers. And he's fitting his facts into the church narrative, which is round. This is a scene from one of the greatest documentaries of all time, and it's called Idiocracy. So if somebody has one of those short hamster attention spans, you know, you can get it really fast because this one's nice and punchy. I can't read the scriptures for you, but I can give them to you in memes short enough for your attention span like a hamster still to get. Come on. Yeah. Lord of the Rings. You gotta love it.
That was a good one. I liked that one when I saw it.
Okay, so number 8, outrageous is more memorable. So if you ever do any study into memory, you know, if you take something that, you know, okay, these guys that can like memorize a whole deck of cards, and you go, how do they do that? If you talk to them about it, they're like, well, there's blueberries that were coming out of my eyeballs and they squished on the ground and they turned into ice. And like, they do these visual things, these outrageous things, and it helps it to stick. So here's an outrageous picture of this little guy, the LDS church, pushing on a growing number of members who question. Yeah. Okay,
that is a hilarious meme. I love that one. It's very, very funny. Okay.
So they're anonymous. You know, one of the major issues that you deal with, Michelle, is that you are doing a record over time of your journey. If somebody goes back to video number 3 and compares it to video 100 and whatever, and sees that you've changed something, they could make you an offender for a word where they go, you said that you believe da 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 da, and you go, well, I've evolved. I used to believe that until I was presented with other information, and now I believe that, fill in the blank. And people can give you a hard time about that because memes don't have your name on them unless you want them to. They're just passed around. You could have an idea and send it out into the interwebs, and it just does what it's going to do. And you could change your mind later on and make a new meme, but it's not like somebody's going to bust your chops because of the old meme that you made. Also, and I'll get more. Yeah. I'll get more into the reasons for being anonymous, but that's a big reason. Anyways, yes, we're going to say, Michelle.
Okay, yeah, you're going to get into more reasons because there are a lot of other reasons. Well, and in my defense, I do have to say the only thing I think I have changed my mind about is whether or not we can verify that, is whether or not Joseph dabbled at all in polygamy and whether or not we can verify that. I think that's the only thing on my podcast that I've really changed my mind about. I think other than that, I've been pretty consistent. And it's because I learned a whole lot more.
Yes. And also any misspoken things.
Oh, yeah. That I do a lot.
All the technical stuff that you have to go through in the course of an episode. Yeah, those things.
Yeah, the worst one were the 3 I was doing with no producer when I tried to say, because I don't believe Joseph was a polygamist. And somehow it came out because I don't believe Joseph was a prophet. I got a lot of responses about that one. So clearing the record again, I do believe Joseph was a prophet. I don't believe Joseph was a polygamist, in case anyone is still hung up on that one. Okay.
So this is a scene from one of the greatest movies of all time. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you about the interesting church history documents I've been researching. La la la, not listening. And TBM, people say true believing Mormon, or, you know, that's usually the in the box. Yeah. And then the heretic there is on the right. Now, I put this after this other slide just because, sometimes people, you could share an anonymous, you don't have, you could be the one that made the meme and then share it with somebody who won't hear it from you, but you could give them the meme that's just, oh, what do you think of this meme? And maybe they might listen to it because you're not the one that made it.
Can I say something on this one as well? Are you well, I have a couple of questions that this one makes me think of. First of all, are you going into the apostate versus heretic?
Oh yeah, that's
okay. So I'll save that because that was awesome. That was a good epiphany for me from your group. But also, I think a really important thing, and maybe you'll go into this as well, but is how helpful memes can be to the meme maker, because often you have things that you need to say that you're not free to say. Right. Exactly. Just like people who are in the closet more. I'm white out in the open, so this doesn't affect me as much. But I know that when I went through a really difficult time with the church, it was when I was engaging with the bishop over my Lot's wife insights. And I knew that those insights were true. And I was told that I had to say I was wrong and that I was never to say those things again. And, and it was so important to me to be able to write that paper out. That was the first time I presented at Sunstone. There's something important about saying what needs to be said. And memes give you the chance to do that. Like, they can actually be incredibly cathartic and healing to the person making them, who feels it gives them a voice when they feel like they're not able to express themselves and use their voice. And it's
exactly
so. Anyone in that situation, consider memes. They can be anonymous. You don't have to put, but you can say what needs to be said. And that's really useful.
Nailed it. And this goes back to that same thing. Last week's belief that you now realize was just a false tradition. There's SpongeBob burning it up. Yeah. So, it allows you to evolve where you can make other memes and put away the old ones. And number 10, anyone can make them. Who, me? People say, oh, no, I've never done that, but it's pretty danged easy. So right here, this is
Can I speak to that again as well?
Please.
Like that is for me. That's totally for me, because you're an artist. I do not have an artistic bone in my body, really. Like, none, zero, And so the first time I made a meme, I was so proud of myself. And I know I do it the least efficient way. I know nothing about how to do it, but I had this idea that grew from a couple of ideas I saw that I was like, oh, it's brilliant, 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 and I made a meme and my kids helped me. And I was like, it's really fun and gratifying. And you really can learn to make a meme. I think you're going to help us learn to do it better. But I went on from there and I've made several memes now, and it's really fun, and I can do it. And I didn't think I could. Okay.
Yeah. Back in college, I had a Photoshop class. It was a class just on Photoshop, and it was so complicated. And I think people could think that these, you got to be good at Photoshop. You got to have some expensive software. I don't know how to do that stuff. No. It's on your stinking phone, and most people have phones. And so here on the left here, on the far left, I just did a screenshot of a bunch of, this is actually for a Samsung phone. And I'm sure iPhones are the same deal. You can get on there and find meme generator or meme maker or meme, there's a ton of different apps out there. Generally, they're free. And or you get a paid version if you don't want ads, that kind of thing. But it makes it totally easy. The one in the middle is for collage making. Like, sometimes you may have different pictures you want to put together, and there's different apps for that. And the one on the far right is to cut and paste. Like, maybe you want to take a head off of somebody and put it on somebody else, that kind of thing.
Oh,
those are
cool.
usually the three main apps that I use. And I do all mine on the phone, on my phone. So.
Okay, New Year's resolution for me. I don't do New Year's resolutions, but I am going to try. I've never done that. I make memes the dumbest way. Take the pictures myself first of all, or go into Google Slides and try to put some text on. So I am going to use one from each column in this next year and make a meme, and that is my goal. So okay. I'm going to get better at meme making.
Do it. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and do a meme making tutorial. I recorded this earlier.
Yep, let me
Or
try and do that for you. Here we go. So
Okay.
this is Jeremy's special presentation just for us on how to make a meme. So everyone get out your notebooks, take notes, and be ready to watch this again because it's great fun. Here it goes.
Brothers and sisters, yeah, we're going to do a meme tutorial. I have open here an app called Meme Generator. It's free on Android. I don't know about iPhones, but if you go to the stores, you can find all kinds of free apps for the meme making world. And as I kind of scroll through these kind of slow, you can see there's a ton of them. You just choose a picture and slap some words on there, and you're off to the races. Bada bing, bada boom, easy peasy lemon squeezy. You have a meme, and you can, save it and share it. As I scroll through these, I bet there's a bunch. You're like, oh, I know that one. I know that one. That's where people are getting that. Like I said, this is just one of many, many apps. So, and to do it, I mean, heck, you just click on one, and then you just, change the words to be what you want. Blah, 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 blah. So there you go. But we're not going to do one from one of their pictures. I had an idea last night that I want to do in honor of Michelle Stone and people like her. As you become a YouTube personality and as you become an authority or a perceived authority on a topic, people start asking you to do stuff that they should do for themselves. And I'm not saying that Michelle is having that happen, but I imagine she is. And I thought it'd be fun to do something that kind of pokes at that. It's just like with anything, any channel. I mean, if you've got a gardening channel, people are going to contact you in the notes and be like, I'm in zone 6B. Can I plant potatoes in September? Google it, silly Billy. Okay, so what I'm going to do is something about that using this meme generator, but I'm going to use my own pictures. So I'm going to go to Google, and I'm going to put in some keywords to try to find some pictures. I'm going to do woman carrying heavy, oops, my spelling got bad. Carrying heavy load. Let's see what it comes up with. Images. I'll see what catches my eye. Okay, so there's going to be a bunch like this that have watermarks on them. I would never use one that has watermarks. No, thank you. It just looks bad. I don't like it. No matter how much I like the picture, I won't use it. And I'm not saying that I won't use some that are from paid sites. It's up to you what you want to do with that. The reality is that, ooh, I like this one. I like this one. The reality is that the chances of you being in trouble for using a paid photo in your meme is negligible. Usually you'd just be in trouble if you used it for, if you were trying to make money doing advertising with it or something like that. But anyways, let's move on. The next one is, why don't we do overwhelmed, oops, I spelled that weird, housewife, and see what that comes up with. See what comes out to me, what sticks out. I like the pictures that I just go, boom, I like that one. Ooh, I like that one. Okay, this is a super stock one, and I'll use it, whatever. I'm just going to crop out the part that has the thing that says super stock on it. Perhaps you think me of ill morality. Hey, you just don't do it, okay? Let's see here. The last one I want to do is adult tying shoes. Let's see what that comes up with. Oh, I like this one. The husband or the man tying the little person's shoes, but it's not my favorite. Oh, I like this one. Let's use that one. Download image. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to this meme generator, and I'm going to click on this lower right corner that says custom meme, and I'm going to do the second from the bottom, collage multi-panel meme. And I'm going to look for one that's got a place for 3 pictures. right. Did I miss one? I thought there was one on here. Oh, right here. Okay, add picture. I'm going to do this lady first. Make her a little bigger so you can kind of see what's going on. I'm going to do the second one as this lady, and I'm going to kind of make the super stock go off the bottom a little bit, maybe like that. And I'm going to use the third one, the lady with the little girl tying her shoe. That looks good. Next step. Okay, what are my words? I'm going to say asking Michelle Stone to do church history research that you could do for yourself is like ... And let's make this one more line so it fits the space. Okay, I like that. I'm going to say text. Asking this woman to carry something for you. And I'm going to go ahead and put a background on that. Fill the background. Probably don't need that many lines. So I'll just do 3 lines and see how that looks. Asking this woman to carry something for you. Ha, 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 ha. Okay, now I'm going to do this next one. I'm not going to say woman again. I'm going to say lady so it's not redundant. Asking this, this lady to, let's say, mop your floor. Okay, and let's make that smaller. I want to see the dishes there. And I want it to be kind of a similar size as the other one. Asking this lady to mop your floor. It's a little bit bigger, but that's fine. Okay, now the next one. Asking your mommy, mommy to tie your shoes when you already know how. Oh, snap. Okay, let's move that. We're going to have to put this up high because if we put it over her tying of her shoes, then we won't be able to see the fact that she's tying her shoes. All right, let's let this one sink in. Asking Michelle Stone to do church history research that you could do for yourself is like asking this woman to carry something for you. Asking this lady to mop your floor. Asking your mommy to tie your shoes. Oh, this is a zinger. I think that this is to help people to empower people, to not rely on Michelle to try to do their research for them. Let me move this over just a hair. All right. That's it. So now I'm going to go ahead and press save. Save as image. Okay. And now this can be shared to your heart's delight. Peace.
That was great. I love it.
See, so easy. Everyone can do it.
Okay, so I'm going to add your presentation. Are you continuing your presentation?
So, we're going to keep on trucking. So I'm going to do just a few tips here to make your memes more effective. First of all, it's interesting. This is an actual meme template. It is so dark. First of all, just the picture is bad, But you can't even read what the dude's saying, can you? Like, there's the guy's saying something in the upper left one, but you can't read it. So the guy's saying, maybe don't choose some weird, hard to read font. Put it in a contrasting color and make it big enough to read, and maybe I'll listen. You know, so sometimes I see a great meme, but you can't really read it. Or
I've done that before. Yeah. The idea behind a meme. Yeah, the idea behind a meme is you don't have to work hard. It's right there.
Exactly.
It just shouts out at you. So don't. Yes. Oh, that's okay. Point taken. Very, very good. Okay.
I oftentimes will see kids or even adults on the side of the road, with a big sign in ballpoint pen that says car wash or something. And you're driving by, you're like, I can't read that. or they have a bunch
Right.
of work. It's like, you need to understand how eyes work. Brevity wins. So
Yes.
where does your eye go first with this one? Probably the one on the left. Apostate one who not agree, brethren. Right. So that's brief. Whereas the one on the right, it's great, but it's got more words. Bishop, why on the day that historians say that Joseph Smith gave the 12 authority to lead the church, did Joseph's journal read simply in council and warm, some wet? Oh, that's an easy one. Read your scriptures, say your prayers, follow the prophet, pay your tithing, and attend the temple. That's a fun one.
Okay. So they're both great. Just
Yeah.
the fewer words, the more likely it is to be
Correct.
read and shared. So it's not saying you can't use a lot of words, just there's a cost and benefit. Okay.
Correct. Exactly. You nailed
Okay.
it. So the one on the right here, when you ask me to sum up a lifetime of study into a bite-sized nugget, so you can judge in a moment of deliberation whether what I believe is right or wrong. There's people that do that to us. They, like, well, just give me the cliff notes, 5 seconds, and we're like, oh my gosh, you got to put more effort into it than that. But that's really what memes are trying to do, trying to put it all into just a punch of information that you can give to somebody. Now, this one on the right is one that I made that I count as one of the most important things that I've found.
Okay.
That I think is super interesting and everybody should be aware of. I bet you very few have actually taken the time to read it. It's one of those things where it's like, I've taken the articles where you don't have to go find them, but there's still old-timey documents, old-timey, that I don't know if there's enough there to get people to want to read it. I probably need to have a better catch line at the top. There's some things I could do, but sometimes they just aren't going to be brief. But as a result, and like you say, the net result though is less people are going to read it, but still that is a really good bit of information, long as it is.
Okay, so go back to that one.
Yeah.
At the risk of having you pull that face at me that is in the first meme, now that you've got everyone intrigued by what you found, do you want to tell us what it is?
So a while back, I did a really deep dive into the topic of fast offerings and just trying to find out, where did that come from? It's not in the scriptures. Well, it is in the scriptures. It's in Isaiah. Only if you connect dots that aren't really there. So I went back and I found these 2 articles that talk about fast offerings and their origin. And it's like, it's just wild. Like, you read in the church curriculum and it will say things like, God instituted the law of the fast offering to provide for the poor. It says that, but there's never going to be any footnote on it because there is no footnote on it. Because if you go back to the history of it, the one, I can't, it's small writing on my screen, but one of them is basically saying the history is that Joseph Smith there's a bunch of people that came into the city and he did a short-term fundraiser to provide for their needs, and they called it a fast offering, right? And then much, much later, Brigham Young instituted it again, and it became a practice in the church. But it doesn't say anything about revelation or God instituted it or it's from the scriptures or anything like that. It was just they made it up.
Okay. Super good to know. So this is like one of those maybe where you do the meme without, it could be one where you do the meme that gets the point across and then attach the information for people who want to learn more is another option. So, okay, that's awesome. Thank you. And people will be able to look those sources up, or I can include them below because that's like a whole new bit of information for anyone who hasn't seen that before, which includes me. So thank you. That's awesome.
Now, this is kind of a home for people who are kind of like the guy with the tie there. Kids, you're both just awful. It's kind of, we find ourselves in this place where it's like, we're not completely on board with everything the current church is teaching for, the current narrative with everything. I mean, it may just be one single doctrine or maybe many doctrines or practices or something. And then we're not on the other side. And Exmo is really not a very good name. These names stink. we are
They
so
do
bad
stink. So
about defining, who people are, because a lot of people go, well, TBM, True Blue Mormon. Well, I'm a True Blue Mormon. I believe in the Book of Mormon. The people that go to church right now, most of them, they don't believe in the Book of Mormon, And most people are like, well, I got kicked out of the church, but I still believe. Like, I'm not anti Joseph Smith. I'm not, so these labels stink, but just trying to say that, like, the people in this group generally are kind of in the middle land where they're like, well, I see that there's some issues with the church. All is not well in Zion. And I want to have a place to kind of hash through some of that stuff with other people.
I love it. Let me chime in on the TBM. So usually that's True Blue Mormon or True Believing Mormon. How I've come to interpret that now is kind of people who are really concerned with boundaries. Like, they're the people who say, if you think that, why don't you just leave? Or you need to be kicked out. The people who are like anxiously waiting for someone like me to be kicked out of the church. It does tend to be a little bit of a, maybe like it's used kind of as a pejorative, I would say, right?
Yeah.
Like, and so I don't think it's people who just have a test. Like, I know a lot. So my best friend, who I just was talking to last night, is as faithful as they come, but she will engage with me and have awesome conversations, right? So it's just about being open to ideas, or being like, you're not allowed to say that, right? That's what I think you're trying to encapsulate. Well, we're trying to encapsulate with that. And then, the Exmos are like, throw it all out. Joseph was a con man, and the church has only bad, and anyone who believes it is kind of stupid, right? Like, anyway,
exactly.
Maybe that's overstated, but that's kind of what it's getting to. It's like, there are a lot of us that don't fit into either category. Yeah,
exactly. So this is an important distinction to make. Words matter, right?
Yes.
So apostate, the actual definition of apostate on the left is a person who forsakes his religion, cause, party, etc. Forsake means complete leave, right? You're completely gone. Whereas heretic is a professed believer who maintains religious opinions contrary to those accepted by their church, or rejects doctrines prescribed by that church. So that's what this group is about, being a heretic, not an apostate where you just completely have said, oh, there's no God, there's no, scriptures are fairy tales and whatever.
Right. I love this is a distinction that memes in this group brought to my attention. I was like, oh, I love that, because so an apostate, this is the way I would describe it, like, or I do describe it. An apostate is someone who is on the outside, who no longer considers themselves a member of the tribe, who doesn't affiliate, or at least doesn't, you know what I mean? They do not attend church. They don't grapple with the questions, right? They have left.
Correct.
And a heretic is like, we're the ones kind of that are like in the battle, taking arrows from both sides. Like, it is a hard place to be, but we're the ones on the inside, still TBM, still true believing members of the church, who just say, hey, this idea of the prophet can never lead the church astray and follow the prophet isn't great. And it's not scriptural, right? Like, that's kind of where we are. It's like, like there's value in the church. There's so much value in the gospel. There's value in the scriptures. And reading the scriptures kind of shows us that all is not well in Zion. Oh, look, the scriptures even tell us all is not well in Zion, and don't say that, right? So anyway, I think it's good to say we are on the inside, wanting to be on the inside, right? We're like I know that many people have left the church, or some have been kicked out, but still consider themselves believers in the gospel of Jesus Christ as restored through the prophet Joseph Smith. So I think that's a really useful distinction. Whenever people call me, whenever someone wants to call me an apostate from now on, I'm just going to say, nope, I'm not an apostate. I'm a heretic.
That's right. Get it straight. And the challenge with that, the challenge with that, though, Michelle-ikins, is that the church has changed the definition, to be, I mean, it's if you look online, it's if you are disagreeing publicly with the brethren,
then you can be labeled of being an apostate.
Correct. Yeah. You're in apostasy according to, I believe, the handbook. So, this is a meme about that. But how do you know she's an apostate? Because she said something different than the quorum of the 15. But do not heretics also say something different than church leaders? Oh, yeah. There are ways of telling whether she is an apostate. Does she talk about these beliefs publicly? Yes, yes, she does. She's an apostate. Excommunicate her.
That's great. I almost feel like they should also say, throw her in the river, see if she floats. Yeah.
Yeah. See, and I could have added a bunch more lines.
Right. This
to
is
that one.
great. This is great. Okay.
So in our group, the Apostle Meme group, you know, on one extreme, you might have somebody who attends church every Sunday, holds a calling and pays tithing, raises her hand to sustain leaders, believes almost all LDS doctrines, but firmly believes tithing the poor is wrong and would be happy to show you the scriptures why this is the case. So there's some people that just like, maybe they have one thing that's kind of like a hang up, you know, and they're there to talk about that and other things in the group. And then on the other extreme, you've got people who are happy to attend any Christian church that seeks to follow Christ, believes in God and the Book of Mormon, but doesn't believe there's been an actual prophet since Joseph Smith, views current LDS leadership more like directing board of a corporation. So, you know, you've got people that are like much more extreme on one end, and just coming into the group, you need to realize there's all kinds in the group.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, like sometimes I just scroll past memes that are like, I personally don't like super critical. I don't like being hypercritical of leaders, or, you know, and some people do. And so I think like recognize not every meme is going to be for you, and give yourself permission to scroll by, right?
Exactly.
And
exactly.
I'm sorry to be picky, but I have to correct your meme here.
Oh, crud.
You totally put the women on the wrong sides. You have the sleeveless one in the first category, which is a big oversight.
Oh my gosh, I'll have to fix that. Maybe we can fix it in post.
Fix it in post. Okay.
So, and just so you know, too, there may be people who are totally like, "Oh, I'm going to get in that group and stir it up." I'm trolls. You know. Yeah, trolls. So just know that you won't last long. If you break our rules, if you're annoying, if you're promoting your abominations, you're going to get kicked out quick. So you might as well save your time and not give us grief.
That's great. And I also have to say, there are some people in the group that are like using it as a proselyting tool in terms of like their Christian religion, or to save people from the abomination of Mormonism, or to come in and like, I'm gonna like even be sort of a TBM, and I'm going to call all these people to repentance. Like, it's just annoying. Yeah. Don't do it. This is not the group for you. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay. And I put this one in here. I heard you got kicked out of the vegetarians Facebook group. Yeah, those people got no class. Aren't you a meat eater? Well, yeah. Well, what were you posting about? I was telling them how dumb they were for not eating meat. And you're surprised you got kicked out? Hey, those people just want an echo chamber. It's not my fault if they aren't open-minded to other opinions.
Exactly. Okay.
You know? So yeah, know that the group, it's not a, come in and say whatever you want group. It's not a open discussion group. It's a niche group for people who are, again, believe just something needs to be fixed in church doctrine or practices.
Right. Yeah. And also people who use various groups to come on and sell their wares to promote whatever they're like, just don't. It's annoying.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay.
So we have two main different camps in our group: out of the closet apostate memers. These are people that are posting online of, you know, their various thoughts very frankly. Everyone knows they see issues in the modern church. They have no fear of repercussions. They're like, you know, I already got kicked out, or I'm, you know, whatever. You do what you're going to do.
Or even if they do have fear of repercussions, they just kind of do it anyway.
Exactly. And then on the other extreme, we've got the in the closet apostate memers. They want to learn and post without worrying who knows. They're not ready to face church discipline for beliefs outside the mainstream, don't want to end up in a divorce court when their unawakened spouse catches wind. They want to be able to do missionary work on their own, with work to their own people without being labeled as an apostate, thereby making their opportunities to be heard disappear. And I'll talk more about that. Here's
a great picture.
We will now hear a divorce case between one Judy and Bob Jensen. Judy says that she caught Bob mentioning to a friend online that not all prophetic counsel should be taken as the word of God. She says this is a sure sign of apostasy, and she can't be married to a man who won't be in the celestial kingdom. She seeks their collection of Janice Cat Perry sheet music and Minnie Christus. So, there are people that, where they're working on their spouse. They want their spouse to learn over time, and can't be
and
open.
this also is a great example of the memes, and maybe you're going to get to this, but so often I will see memes and I don't know whether to do like a laugh, thumbs up, or like a cry. Do you know what I mean? Because often that's one powerful thing about memes. They can make you laugh at the tragic, which is important, but it also gives voice. Like, it is tragic that family relationships are so damaged by by faith transitions, or by people learning more. It is really a hard thing. So that's one thing. Like, no shame, no hate to the in the closet memers or in the closet. Like, more power to you. That's great.
It's a private group, and I have people who've contacted me privately for two reasons. One reason is to say, I want you to make this group public. Make it public. And there are people that are short on empathy for people who are still in the closet. They're like, you need to not be afraid. But the reality is that when somebody is labeled an apostate, even if they're still in the church, it can ruin their opportunities to still share to certain people they're trying to share to, because people in our church will stop listening, or a lot of them, they'll shun you. So,
and also, like you said, if my mom or dad find out, or if my wife or the husband finds out, or it's just tricky. I mean, I shouldn't say finds out. It's just, I need to say things that I'm not ready for everyone.
Milk before meat for every. And so this is the one that Dale had posted. When your favorite podcaster asks you to talk about something, but you're in an anon who needs your secret identity.
Yes.
And so there's people that are posting. There's people that either have fake account, fake names, or they just post anonymously on everything. So this is a note that I got from a friend of mine who is serving as a bishop, who I'd spoken, who had gotten a hold of some of my beliefs, nowadays. And he said, I will pray for you, my brother, because it takes a lot of courage and faith to speak up. Maybe if enough people speak up, something can change. We need people who think like you in the church. And the funny thing is like, what am I talking about? I'm talking about scriptures and church history. Why does it take courage and faith to speak up about church history and scriptures? And this is a man who has to private message me. I have people that private message me. Oh my gosh, I can never say anything about this stuff out loud because I'd be ostracized.
Yeah.
In the upper right corner here, this is a quote from a friend of mine. I was sharing out some stuff about Gileadi's Isaiah writings. And one of my friends responded, my mom and siblings told me Gileadi was recently excommunicated again. Not sure I would read anything recent of his if that was true. And so that's what can happen is if you're labeled apostate, then it can shut doors. So just know that you can be anonymous in our group so that you don't have to shut the door of being able to help out. There are people that share our beliefs that are still every church Sunday, they're teaching in primary, they're teaching gospel doctrine, and they're dancing around some of these issues just because they don't want to offend people, or maybe they're just slyly slipping things in to help people to think about stuff, So.
And I will say I'm one. I guess I'm a good case study because I am attending every Sunday, serving in my calling, my husband serving in his calling. We have a son on a mission, and I'm hoping that people can see that more space is available to, to speak openly and have a little bit less fear. Because I think that's a good movement for us. I think, God has never given us the spirit of fear. And if we are in a church where we have fear to speak what feels to us as truth, and like you said, and just I think that's a cultural component that many of us hope will will
Yeah.
start to change, because I don't think it's a lot of people will talk about how good the church gospel is and how problematic the culture is. And in some ways I love the culture, but that's one part of the culture. I do not love the call their bishop idea. Like,
Oh yeah.
let's minimize that.
One of my friends actually had his name removed from the church. And after a while, he called me up, we were chatting, and basically he just expressed how much he just missed, like the culture and going to church. And he's like, you know what? Now I can't be influential in church. I can't teach lessons. I can't. And he went through a list of things that he can't do now to be influential to people. And he was actually trying to go through the process again of rejoining the church just so that he could still have an influence on his friends and family and stuff at church.
That's it. And for me, it's not even as much about like influencing. Like, I'm not necessarily trying to, like, at church, I don't bring any of these topics up. And everyone does it their way. For me, it just doesn't feel appropriate. When I was many, many years ago grappling with things, I probably said a little bit more in but I just try really hard to be inspired if I'm going to make a comment that, that is very in line with the gospel. I guess for me, it's like, if everyone brings their variety of issues to church, because we have progmos who are still attending, and we have, I mean? It's like, we can't worship together. So I don't do that, but I do still, like, without trying to change the ideas of the church at church, what I personally find great value in the church for myself and my family, and God has told me to stay. So it's not even that people attending are trying to do something. It's just, I am a TBM in every way, except for the couple of historical things I don't agree with, right?
Sure.
So there's room for people like that too. Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to clarify that not everyone is even trying to influence in a different viewpoint. Well, I guess in trying to influence in like, let's be a little bit open to letting people attend who have different ideas and views.
And so often it's this influence that I'm speaking of is, let me help you see what the scriptures say.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about fitting some weird belief system. I'm talking about, guess what the scriptures say? Oh my gosh, that's crazy. So I put this on here. I'm not sure how much time we want to spend on this, but maybe people can pause the screen and read it if they'd like to. But I just put a couple of these up here. Just, it's a long history that we have of this, shunning, people that have beliefs that are outside the norm of, what comes from Salt Lake. And then we have what comes into our groups when your private Facebook group has a mole. There are people that join these groups just purely to take screenshots and to share them other places and to get people in trouble. And
this just happened to me this week. It's
is that right?
Or last week. It's the worst. I hate it because it's just gross people that do that. It's gross. And then they go, it's gross. Okay.
So this lady's saying, "Hi, Bishop. I hate to bother you, but there's something you need to know. You have a member in your ward who's in apostasy, who posts things online that are unflattering to the church." Who am I? Let's just say I'm a concerned member. So there are actually reports of people saying that their bishop got a letter from out of state, or people are researching where somebody lives and calling their bishop or stake president to say, "Hey, do you know that so-and-so said don't follow the prophet?" Or, like, just there's people that have a reporting mentality and are trying to rat people out for what they see as their perceived stepping outside of the lines.
And I have to say, I don't want that side of our church to win. That is, to me, like when I deal with these people, it makes me, that's what starts to make me go, I don't want to be in this church. I don't want to be a Mormon. Because it's like if these are what Mormons are, ew, it's really like, I wish people who are engaged in this could see what they are doing to the church, that there's nothing godly or Christ-like about it. It's the adversary who's the great accuser, right? And it pushes people out of the church and leads them away from the church. It is so awful in every possible way. Please, let's not do that anymore. Ugh.
Submit to our most modern creed or face the Inquisition. That's what that is.
And I do like it when people will contact me privately and say, hey, I'm concerned about what something you said, or, like,
oh yeah,
like, go ahead and call me out to me and let's have a conversation. But this reporting thing is awful. Okay.
Yeah. I threw this in here kind of random, but he's, this meme, me adding it to my meme collection. And that's my hope, is that people will go, oh man, that's such a good one. And they'll save it, and so often in conversations online and such, I'll be in these groups talking about doctrine or something. And instead of giving a paragraph or like cutting and pasting, like lots of words, meme, boom, it answers the question. You can have those just immediate response to somebody.
This is actually a fantastic idea, because as you said, there are so many memes in that group that going and trying to find that one.
Gosh, yeah.
It'll take, So if you just grab,
for hours. I'm sorry, you can scroll for hours.
You can. I'm sad I haven't been doing this. That's not I'm not great at like compiling sources. So that's such a good idea, to just have your list of memes that you can just post when you need them. That's brilliant. I'm glad you included that one.
Okay, so now we're just gonna go through some funny memes. Yay, fun and interesting ones. So church history be like edited by the church.
Oh my God.
I actually don't wear makeup. This is how I look naturally. You just did that temple episode where you're going through the saints and such, and you're looking at the footnotes, and you when you start to really look into it, you start to see it more on the left panel than the right.
Yes, that's great. It's another one is you could use the, like, what are the websites like Temu, where it's like what I ordered, what I got.
Versus what came.
Same thing. Yeah.
Another topic we do a lot of is church culture. A recent convert made the mistake of bringing a cross to an LDS chapel on Sunday. We get a little overboard with our disdain of a cross.
It is funny to be able to poke at our culture with, like we have funny cultural practices. Maybe you have the one, but it's the guy there was a recent one where the guy's drinking the Monster, saying coffee's against the word of wisdom. We have funny stuff like that. Okay.
Yeah. So here's you at church, Michelle. Me trying not to make a controversial comment at church. I like that. Like, should I say something? Should I say something? Okay, here's one of yours.
My first meme, yay!
Yes. Polygamy. That polygamy is one of many topics we cover, but I put a bunch of the polygamy ones on here just for you. This is an inside joke.
Yes, again, the inside joke thing. Yep, go ahead.
Yeah, well, if you know on this one.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Polygamy apologists explaining how Joseph had 34 wives but no children. Connecting the dots.
I love it. Okay, so good.
I wish to be a descendant of one of Joseph Smith's polygamous wives. Pooh, disappears. Because there are none. LDS Church, mommy on the right. Brigham's polygamy statements. Oh, she's showing love and attention to. Joseph's polygamy statements are almost drowning, and then Hiram's polygamy statements are deep underwater, dead skeleton.
These are perfect, and we should say, I'm glad you included these because it's my podcast, and so people who listen to my podcast will get all of these, right?
Identify,
but the Great Apostrophe, as you said, there are millions of topics. I mean, there's a wide range of topics covered. We just chose these. Oh, this one was.
There's lots of Brigham ones. When someone says that one of Brigham's quotes that makes him sound bad needs to be read in context. Look, something nice was in it too. And then you got Brigham's actual quote, which is the doggy doo-doo. I've had that happen so many times where it's like a racist comment or something that Brigham made. And you can massage it all you want. It was racist. It was bad, And then
often
they go,
the context.
It makes it worse.
Yes, it does. It's like, not only did he say that, he spent a page and a half building up to it. And
yeah. Oh my gosh. Yeah. But he did say, I don't know. But he did say that we should care for our brother in that.
Right.
Okay.
That's great.
That makes the rest. better. I don't know.
Right. That's so funny.
So I gave this as just an example. We don't have to read all these, but just there's a lot of these memes that are just a picture of who said it and the quote with a reference. I love when it's got a reference where somebody can't go, oh, where did you get that from? References are so important for stuff like this. So somebody can look up online, Journal of Discourses, Volume 3, number 1. Boy, it really does say those words in here where he was talking about putting the screws on somebody for not paying tithing. Wah, wah, wah. I'm going to levy your property. So this is one that I put together, another church history one that, some of these I'm not going to dwell on. I'm just going to skim over them real quickly. But these are, that one's visually very interesting. It's like a Rorschach of Brigham's head. I think it created some interest. And I did not put any references on there, but somebody could easily look those up if they tried to.
This was the one I saw as I was preparing for my fourth temple one that I was like, I didn't include that. So that's, and I did include it because I saw the meme. So
yeah. So we do a lot of these too. I would call it a fishing meme. That awkward moment when an investigator wants to get baptized and you share 3 Nephi 3:7 instead of 1 Nephi 3:7. So it doesn't tell you what the scripture is.
Yeah.
If you want to know, you got to look it up. You got to open your scriptures up. I love it.
We're not going to tell them, right?
I'm going to keep going. I'm just going to keep
going. Perfect.
So there's a bunch. I mean, you've got fans in our group for sure, your podcast. And so this is one that was made. Thank you for defending Joseph, not you, Smith, from false accusations. And you've got some of the familiar faces that are, proponents of
Joseph's monogamy.
Joseph's monogamy. There you go.
Yeah.
I threw this one up here really quick. Just, like I said, there's a lot of these memes that we have. It's just trying to get you to read a little quote, a picture of drawing of Hiram with him talking about polygamy, saying bad stuff about it.
And it's good to connect that one to Hiram dead at the bottom of the pool. The quotes of Hiram have just been scrubbed from church history.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
That one you had. And so that's a good thing for people to recognize.
Yeah, where are his quotes? They're around. They're just buried. This is a quote from you. It was Joseph with the Urim Thummim in the red brick store.
That was from one of our temple episodes. I should interject here as we're going through.
Yes.
I think, Jeremy, the rest of the presentation is memes that you've just grabbed.
It's just memes. It's just memes,
So I asked him to do this because I just wanted to go through a bunch of them, but I want to just let people know that you can also just go on the Great Apostle meme. Let's talk for a minute and then we'll come back and finish some more of these. Is that okay? And we can.
That's great. That's great.
So I'm going to just take this off for a minute. But I do think, hopefully you're getting the idea of how memes can be used. And if there's not a meme you have found that does what you need it to do, it's such an important tool. I love Jeremy's idea of either gathering them or creating them, and share a meme in those conversations that are, ideally with some humor, maybe a little bit of bite. It's a really effective communication vehicle that's available to us. In this day and age, it's so fun. And I guess it's important to know how helpful and cathartic it can be to people who are grappling with these things, to both see them with the one that you had deleted, Jeremy, that you hadn't included the meme, but talked about how it gave someone an epiphany. I need to find this one. But the one about welcome, like it's Jesus hugging a man saying, I'm so glad you never drank coffee. It kind of does the same thing, where it's like, oh, maybe.
Really? Do I really expect that's going to be the case? Really?
Right. It just kind of lets us look at things with not saying anyone should drink coffee, just maybe we should change our paradigm a little, help us be a little less judgmental, a little less pharisaical, and a little more led by the Spirit than just.
Yeah. I think that there's still a certain amount of people that dismiss memes just as thinking that they are frivolous or, but they are a powerful communication tool. And the fact that they can just be passed around like crazy and changed.
Right. They have massive cultural impact, even in all realms. And so it's really like, it's important to really understand what is happening in this realm and to utilize it if you feel so, if you feel called to it. We're going to go through and just continue with some of these. Anyone wants us to stick around, we'll just go through some memes quickly and probably leave you hanging, but we will leave a link below to the Great Apostle Meme for anyone who would like to join in. And then, what would be super fun? I want to invite people in the comments, please share your favorite memes. Let's load the comments with memes that people can just scroll through and amuse themselves for a little while, or, speak some important things that they feel need to be shared. So please share your favorite memes in the comments. In the spirit of sharing, my producer collected several memes that she and I thought were funny. So I'll share a few of those here. This first one is so on point. Dad, is Santa Claus a hoax? Of course not, son. Think how many people would have to be in on it, right? How many times are we told that collusion cannot happen, even though we see it happening all the time? Oh, this one. No, we can't claim that slavery is okay because it's in the Old Testament. But of course, polygamy is not only okay, it's absolutely necessary because it's in the Old Testament, right? This speaks to a much bigger principle. This is so great. I happen to love Jordan Peterson, and this Kathy Newman interview was a riot. So, yep, the evidence for Joseph Smith's polygamy is questionable and deserves critical examination. So what you're saying is that you're an apostate and I shouldn't listen to you. Pretty much, that's exactly what tends to happen. This one made me laugh. I would like to think that I and many others can put a stop to these bad ideas. So that was rather a fun one for me to get to see. This one also made me laugh aloud. The entire ward trying to stop me from quoting Brigham Young. It's so true. Even sometimes when I'm at discussion groups with very educated church historians or scholars, you cannot quote Brigham Young without getting a lot of pushback. So this one was pretty funny. And then this one, I love the ones that just poke at our culture, right? Better pray that we'll travel home in safety, just like we need to pray that the donuts and soda will nourish and strengthen our bodies, right? And then this is just so apropos for all of those people who just think polygamy is going to be just fine. Really consider the reality of the situation. Then this one's great. If there was any historical evidence of that Joseph Smith didn't practice polygamy, the church would tell us, yeah. And then this is another one of my all-time favorites. Where did Hiram's anti-polygamy speech go? This fabulous one sent by my producer is dedicated to my husband and my children and all of my friends who have to talk to me in real life. As painful as this one is, I absolutely love it. And I'm glad to know that there are many out there who relate. And then this one hit close to my heart. Yep, we need to reach for those unapproved sources if we want to actually learn the truth. I hope you enjoyed those memes. I want to give a shout out to the channel I Believe Joseph. I'll put a link below. He makes great videos and he sent in several of these memes. He does a really good job with both. So anyway, I thought that one was fun. And then we can continue going through a few more of yours. Anyone who's done seeing memes for today, go ahead and share some in the comments. Anyone who wants to, we'll see you later. Thanks for joining us. Anyone who wants to stick around, we're just going to keep going through some of these pretty fast. Yep. And probably not talk as much about them. Go ahead. Yep.
Yeah. This is one on your topic. I always thought that was so funny. This talk by Brigham where he was like, I will free every woman in this territory at our next conference. What? The first wife too? Yes. There shall be not be one held in bondage. All shall be set free. Journal of Discourses. And then here's the slave with the band around his neck saying, set free to wander the streets, penniless and ostracized. Those are the whining polygamist wives. Right. This idea of you're going to be free in a desert.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
LDS Church in 1890 telling its members to stop practicing polygamy with a big wink. Yeah.
Oh, that's great. Okay.
Actual photo of someone explaining how Jacob 2 doesn't condemn polygamy. I know.
These
oh my gosh.
are so good. Okay.
Here's one of those you got to know the church history stuff on. John Taylor and Brigham Young after working hard in the print shop. It's about the bogus, it's funny.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know that Brigham had to leave. The reason Brigham had to flee Nauvoo early in February instead of in the spring is because of counterfeit. Yep. Okay.
Yeah. Like in the scriptures, he's reading the Book of Mormon. You done messed up. Repent. This can't be, like it's kind of small. This can't be right. I'm sure it doesn't apply to me, but this part definitely does. If I ever break my bow, I know just what to do.
Selective application.
Exactly.
Yep.
What kind of anti-Mormon trash have you been reading? Book of Mormon?
There's truth to that. Yeah, it can cause problems.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So if Brigham's crew had edited the Book of Mormon, 1 Nephi 16:7, and it came to pass that I, Nephi, took several of the daughters of Ishmael to wife, and also each of my brethren took at least a few of the daughters of Ishmael to wife, and also Zoram took the eldest daughter of Ishmael to wife because we ran out of extra women. Seeing his distress and knowing it was necessary for his exaltation, I gave unto him a solemn oath that when we came across more women, he'd have first pick, to which he was satisfied.
Okay.
This is one I don't know. No church historians, that won't do. You'll never be able to make them both good. There is just enough merit between them to make one sort of good sort of man. The face that LDS apologists make, if you can get them to actually read section 132 all the way through. Yeah, there's parts in there that they're like, well, what about this? This part's great. And like, yeah, there's parts in there that are in keeping with other doctrine. But then you're like, what about that part about all the virgins? And they're like, oh, when your historical church document that opposes polygamy, fading into nothing.
Exactly.
Oh. So this one got a lot of traction. This one has been passed around a lot. Did Joseph Smith practice polygamy? There is no better source than the prophet himself and his beloved wife Emma. And then just a couple other quotes with, with the dates on it. And this one has gone around like crazy. So that's a very effective meme.
And one of the things I love about that one also is it's one that's positive. Like I like making the positive case, and that's one that I love about this, and one reason that I think it gets shared, because also you don't just want to poke and criticize. Like for me, I want to create ones that just make the positive case and like look at their relationship. It's important. We should pay attention. Yeah, I love that.
Excellent. This one is a funny one to me. This is a satire. Church News, December 8th, 2023. The Church History Department has released a previously unknown photograph that was used to inspire recruitment into Brigham's Whistling and Whittling Brigade. The photo has been confirmed to be one of John James Rambo, an immigrant from England. Church historians place his age at around 8 years old at the time of the photograph. This is poking fun at the many sources that make it want to sound like these were very young boys, like 8-year-olds out,
whistling and whittling,
but
right.
not
was
enforcers,
It was adult men with Bowie knives actually drawing blood and beating people up and threatening to kill them. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, this one's funny. Yeah, I do tend to like the ones that are just short and to the point. Like it's still Winnie the Pooh, but look, he's fancy.
Yeah, exactly. What enduring to the end feels like when you're LDS, what enduring to the end actually is, seeing Christ. Okay, here's a special one for Michelle. Mormons still thinking it's coming back. Polygamy. They're holding on to polygamy. I got you, brother. Michelle Stone comes out. Danny DeVito, Michelle Stone, with a 2x4 to whack him in the head. Oh no, you don't.
And I have to say with this one, when it first got shared to me, which is part of why I think it's so brilliant, when I first looked at it, I thought it was an enemy that had made. I thought it was a critic, someone who hated me, who made it, because the first thing your eye goes to is Danny DeVito with Michelle Stone with a 2x4. You know what I mean? Obviously, the villain of the show. And I thought that this one was so funny. And even after I read it, I was like, I don't know if they like me or not, but I laughed the entire day when I saw this one. I thought it was so funny. I loved it.
Good.
It's so clever.
Here's Joseph Smith throwing out John C. Bennett, and then right behind him is Brigham Young.
Yeah,
didn't solve anything.
Right. Oh.
Are you two friends? Jacob 2? No. Dr. Chemist 132? Yes.
That's so good. These are so good.
You know what I like? You know what? I really like donuts. I'm pretty sure God wants me to have as many donuts as I want. The more I think about it, the more I feel that God is revealing to me that donuts are a celestial food. This is just poking at that we need to be wary of following the vain imaginations of our heart. You know, we need to make sure something is actually from God.
We can swap out donuts for wives if we're feeling a little bit creative, right? Yeah.
Exactly. Or any number of other doctrines.
Yeah.
This just happened. There's a bunch of just Jacob 2 versus 132 memes on here. When Michelle Stone provides a plentiful sources and citations to back her claims, and a trained historian dismisses her research as false using only his or her word as an authority with no backing of sources or citations. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah.
Stop taking phone calls from Michelle Brady Stone. She knows too much. Sometimes you call to these different places, and
the church
I wonder if at some point they're going to go, "What's your name?" Yeah.
Yeah.
My name.
They've started to ask. Right.
My name is Judy Simpson.
So funny.
This is what a lot of our group does. You can't touch the sacred cows. Me, yeehaw! We're poking fun at the sacred cows. Some of my favorite,
or at least investigating them.
Exactly.
Even not poking fun, just investigating. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. Some of my favorite historical fiction books: Becoming Mrs. Lewis, Saints, and The Boy in the Striped Pajamas.
Oh, it's
well, a lot of us feel this way when you pull at one of church history's strings. It just keeps on unraveling and unraveling and unraveling. So we can identify with this poor kitty. TBMs and anti-Mormons. Joseph Smith said, and then the pneumo or the whatever we are, I know more than you.
Yeah, and this was in response to that same theme of what is the source of the Joseph Smith quote? Is that Brigham Young said, Joseph Smith said, or is that?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a lot of the manuals will just say Joseph Smith said, even though it was a second hound or third hound. It doesn't say Larry
Decades
Smith
later,
said that. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
From an offhand comment, probably not from any journal.
Right.
I like this one a lot. Source. Here you go. I don't want a source. I want you to be wrong.
Oh, that's so good. I love it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that are just like, give you busy work, and when you help them out, they just bust your chops. So what scriptures are you studying these days? Oh, you mean come follow me? No, I mean, what book or chapters are you studying the scriptures? Yeah, I don't understand what you're asking. You should go and check out Come Follow Me.
Oh, wow.
When people start putting the emphasis on the curriculum and not on the actual scriptures themselves.
Yeah.
All I want for Christmas is William Clayton's diaries. Yeah, I think a lot of us do. Do you support or promote any teachings, practices, or doctrine contrary to those of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? Are you talking about the 1830s church, the 1850s, or current? They all taught different things. Do you sustain the president of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints as prophet, seer, and revelator? Will you please define for me what you mean by sustain? Also define prophet, seer, and revelator. Hey, look, man, I just work here.
I think this speaks to the struggle. I mean, a lot of people have to negotiate how to best navigate temple recommended issues when they are heretical, when they don't have the standard beliefs. And I actually think this speaks to, like, we don't need to burden the bishop or the state president with that. It's like it's okay to navigate that by yourself with God, find out what you believe and how you feel you should answer the questions, then go or don't. But you know what I mean? We the temple recommended interview, those poor bishops just trying to get through a bunch of them. We can have some sympathy for them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Definitely. Learn everything you did in all your years as a church historian in my spare time using the internet. Michelle Brady Stone. While homeschooling 11 kids. Mic drop.
Oh, dear. So
that's a good one. I like that one for you.
Yeah.
These are a couple about you. This is the last one. Making LDS church historians look stupid. one video at a time.
It's funny. Yeah, okay. It's so funny. And I don't want to make enemies of anybody, but it does
This is
make me
other
laugh.
people on your behalf, okay? This is not
Right.
you being,
I'm not posting
braggadocious or anything like that.
about myself. Yeah.
Other
but
people posted those for you.
And I am grateful. I'm always grateful to know that people appreciate some of what I'm doing,
Yeah.
So thank you again, Jeremy, for coming. This was so much fun. I think really instructive and entertaining, which I think is a great way to wrap up the year and have just a fun
infotainment, girl. Infotainment.
There we go. We can always rely on you for infotainment. So anyway, I thank you everybody for sticking with this podcast this year. We have wrapped up another year of 132 Problems, which has been great. And I'm excited for more to come. So Jeremy, thank you for coming. Oh, and I will be working a little bit with Jeremy going forward you'll see some of his work on my graphics. I'm really excited. So
gonna help out.
Anyway, yay. So thank you again, and we will see you next time.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you again for sticking with us. I hope I get to see a lot of your memes in the comments. And again, please plan to tune in next week. There should be some information coming before that, hopefully. So I think it'll be a big episode and a lot of things to look forward to. There is so much to keep learning this next year. So thank you again, and I will see you next week.